Hi, I'm Fake Ross and I have dyslexia. I left school with the equivalent of A star, BB in my A levels and a bunch of GCSEs ranging from A star to C. Growing up, I didn't realise dyslexia was something that I had until later on. I just thought I was stupid. Getting 0 out of 10 on spelling tests every week, being slow to read things, being told I needed easier books to read. I just accepted that I wasn't as smart as everyone else, which wasn't the case. Dyslexia doesn't actually affect your intelligence, but it's a common mistake a lot of people make. In fact, it's the most common specific learning difficulty affecting 10% of the population. So, I'll be asking, what is it like to grow up with dyslexia and how it really affects people? But first of all, let's see what people think dyslexia really is.
I don't know, a difficulty with learning or like slower or finding it harder to read or writing slower.
Like struggling to read things. Spelling everything wrong.
People struggle with their learning and writing.
Find it difficult.
They struggle to learn.
As you can see, a lot of people have the wrong idea about what dyslexia actually is. In fact, like I said earlier, dyslexia is a specific learning disability, which means it causes problems with certain abilities used for learning, such as reading and writing. Unlike a learning disability, intelligence isn't affected. It's actually estimated that 1 in every 10 to 20 people in the UK have some degree of dyslexia. However, while I was in school, my parents kept being told that I spoke very brightly, but my work was like it was a different person's. No one ever thought it could be dyslexia. In fact, I wasn't even tested until I was 11 years old and about to leave primary school.
Well, we didn't notice it for a long time, actually. In primary school, I suppose it was first noticeable that there was a problem, although I didn't click that it would be anything like a learning difficulty like dyslexia, was when you used to do all those little spelling tests every week. You ought to think about your confidence as well, because your confidence had been knocked out.
Yeah, it really had.
Because it hadn't been recognised before, and you just thought, I can't understand why I can't do it. And I couldn't understand why you couldn't grasp it, why you couldn't, and I just thought, Faye's just not
smart.
Yeah, I did. It's just so difficult to say about your own children, and you don't. But I just thought, well, okay, so she's not bright. So what? So she doesn't make her, And I was thinking of all the things that you could do without having to do, be great at writing and things like that.
Support in school wasn't there for me at the start. I just simply had to get on with it. However, for some people the help is there because people picked up on their difficulty much earlier on. Owen Thomas was lucky enough to get the right support eventually.
I think it was when I was 7, the teachers started being concerned about me being so far behind in the reading and writing. My mum tried to kind of get me tested for dyslexia, and they had someone who sensibly did all kinds of tests, including like eye tests, and they came up with the conclusion that I just had a language problem. From there they did manage to get me some kind of special learning support, but it was apparently just awful, and they just had to take me to a private school, unfortunately, which they were very reluctant to do. But by the time I was kind of aware of having any problems with the reading and things, I had all these reports that were saying that you can't do this, but you can do that, and so I was very aware of strengths and weaknesses as opposed to just weaknesses.
Owen was lucky enough his parents were able to put him into a private school to get him the help he needed. Not everyone is able to get that help still, but Dyslexia Action are a national charity with over 40 years' experience in providing help to people. Sarah Meredith is the area manager for Dyslexia Action in London and the South East. She explained to me what Dyslexia Action can offer people and why people need to be aware of it.
First thing really is to understand that dyslexia is not a negative thing, and there's no stigma around it. Most dyslexics have a lot of strengths, and that's what we like to push. So rather than saying this person has dyslexia, so they need this and this help, if they make classrooms more inclusive in the first place, it's going to help everybody. What we do first of all is we'll have a free half-hour consultation with them. That means that we can discuss exactly what their needs are, because every person is unique, and identify what's the best option for them. Once we've done that free advice session, 9 times out of 10 they will book an assessment so that they've got a report, and from there they can either then go on and have tuition if they want that, or they will get support in their workplace or in school or whatever the situation is.
After talking to Sarah about getting tested, it made me think about what it was like for me throughout school after I had my assessment and what help they provided me. So I sat back down with my mum.
So yeah, year 6 you had that teacher. What was her name?
Mrs. Andrews.
Mrs. Andrews. Now she was one of the best teachers there, I think, and she noticed something, didn't she? She was the one that thought, hold on a minute, everything's not quite right, and she got you assessed. And I remember her saying to me, we're going to get Faye assessed because we think there might be a problem. And I thought, there's not a problem with Faye. She takes her a bit longer, but I thought, no, hold on a minute. I think she's got something. Let's see what she, and she got you assessed. And then we found out that you had a learning difficulty. They didn't say dyslexia. They wouldn't call it dyslexia.
But it was.
Yeah, then you went to Woodbrook. So all of that information got passed up. But it was a relief, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
But it felt like nothing was still being done about it.
No, it didn't feel like a great deal was being done. Also, remember we were getting you some extra help. Was it by then?
Year 8, yeah, it must have been.
Once a week you had a couple of hours with her, didn't you, doing some English and maths? Considering you had that tricky start, you really made up for it by the time you got to GCSEs.
Like I mentioned earlier, Dyslexia Action provides help for people with dyslexia and their families too. So I went along to a parent meetup where they got advice from Sarah and shared their own experiences of how their child's school deals with it.
Hi, I'm Juliet Shaw, and I have got 3 children, 2 of whom are dyslexic.
My name's Patricia Kelly, and I've got a daughter who hasn't been diagnosed with dyslexia. I'm also a teacher and a Senko. See, at the point where a child is being assessed, as a Senko, I've got a Senko hat on as well as a parent, it's what support is provided in school that I'm most concerned about.
Yeah.
But then what happens? What does the school do? So, for example, if the school does 1 hour, is that enough for the child?
It's better than nothing, because, what you're doing is you are giving them the strategies and the resources to help themselves.
We joined a new school, and within 3 weeks my son's teacher said, has anyone mentioned this? But she's dyslexic and has a dyslexic son, and so she was just the right person at the right time to pick it up.
It hasn't been diagnosed, but it's really paramount that she needs the support. Everyone's got their own ideas of what dyslexia is and whether a child should be labelled, but she feels that she doesn't have dyslexia. But I feel that she does have traits of dyslexia.
So the assessments, the full assessment,
Yes.
we do it once when they're 7 or 8,
Yes.
and then we don't do it again.
Yeah.
How frequently would you do it?
With the strategies in place, they should be progressing anyway. And that's the reason why you do reassess at university level. But that original report is there for life. That will see them through.
The parents left the meetup feeling much more positive and confident that they can go into their child's school and ask for the assessment and the support the child has the right to. After talking to everyone, I went back to my mum, and she really made me think that having dyslexia isn't that bad at all. It's actually shaped me as a person.
How would you feel if somebody said, OK, let's go back in time, Faye, we'll take your dyslexia away?
I don't know if I'd be doing what I'm doing now.
I know, but would you have been as motivated? Would you have been a bit more lazy and, not tried as hard?
Yeah, and not got involved with extra stuff.
Yeah,
and
because that's what's got you, that's propelled you.
I've always wanted to be that kid that was really academically clever, like picking stuff up. But I think I've had to realise, I've only just realised it, that I'm not. I think at uni it's made me realise that, okay, I'm never going to be that person, I have to accept it. But if you asked to take away my dyslexia, and I don't think I'd want you to.
No. I think you'd be quite a different person if you didn't have it.
Do you think? In what way, like?
I just don't think you'd have tried like you have done. You wouldn't have developed the relationships. With teachers, it's hard sometimes when you're a young person. And I think those relationships have really helped you.
So after all of this, I found out a lot, not just about growing up with dyslexia, but myself too. I've learnt that since I was in primary school, there's a lot more help there now. but not in every school. And I feel like that's something that needs to be consistent across the UK. But it's not something that holds people back either. People with dyslexia are still bright and intelligent people. And like I realised about myself, I've made up for not being academically clever by getting involved and volunteering with things outside of the classroom. What I'm trying to say is that dyslexia isn't the be-all and end-all. You can still go on to great things.